Hello, I'm Mohsen Jamal and you watch Afghan News. US-backed Afghan militias are committing murder, rape, torture and extortion, risking increasing support for the insurgent groups. They were designed to fight against a prominent human rights group has said. Militias, including the Afghan local police, suffer from poor oversight and no accountability and are prone to act with impunity, Human Rights Watch said. The ALP program was introduced by General David Petraeus, the former commander of foreign forces in Afghanistan, despite opposition from a skeptical President Hamid Karzai, a military official told The Guardian. Human Rights Watch's 102-page report, Just Don't Call It a Militia, details how the US-funded high-risk and quick-fix solution has been plagued by poor design, a lack of oversight and insufficient vetting of the 7,000 recruits, some of whom are criminals or insurgents, while the US has approved funding for a further 23,000 ALP recruits. Human Rights Watch says the ALP has improved security in some areas, but it has uncovered multiple examples of human rights abuses that threaten to undermine its worth. Former U.S. Deputy Defense Secretary Paul Wolfowitz has warned that the country faces the risk of being attacked if it withdraws too quickly from Iraq and Afghanistan. Wolfowitz said the U.S. should continue supporting Afghanistan and Iraq as both countries are helping to prevent the recruitment and training of terrorists in the Middle East. This comes as U.S. President Barack Obama has announced a plan to gradually draw down the 100,000 troops in Afghanistan and hand over all security responsibilities to Afghan forces by the end of 2014, while in Iraq, the American troops are scheduled to withdraw fully by December 31st, 2011. Afghan security forces and foreign troops killed 8 insurgents and detained 11 in operations in 6 provinces, the Ministry of Interior said in a statement. The Education Ministry said in a statement that insurgents in North Ali district of southern Helmand province killed the head of a school on Sunday. Elsewhere, Nur Khan Nekzat, a spokesman for Herat police chief, said that insurgents killed 3 policemen in Gulran district of eastern Herat province on Sunday. Meanwhile, unknown gunmen killed a member of the Ulema Council in Lashkargah city of southern Helmand province on Sunday, said Dawood Ahmadi, a spokesman for the provincial governor. British Prime Minister David Cameron met Russian President Dmitry Medvedev on Monday on a visit to Moscow lasting less than 24 hours. It is the first visit by a British Prime Minister since former Russian spy Alexander Litvinenko died in London from poisoning by radioactive polonium-210 in 2006. Cameron called for better business ties with Russia before talks with Russian leaders intended to improve relations soared by the murder of a Kremlin critic in London 5 years ago. Cameron would also meet Prime Minister Vladimir Putin later on Monday. Cameron is accompanied by a high-power 24-strong business delegation, including BP chairman Bob Dudley, Royal Dutch Shell Chief Executive Peter Vosser and Rolls-Royce Chairman Simon Robertson. Cameron's office said the visit was expected to seal £215 million worth of business deals, creating almost 500 new jobs in Britain and safeguarding thousands more, although it gave no details. Commemorative events have been held in the United States to mark the 10th anniversary of the September 11th, 2001 attacks, paying tribute to the thousands who died on that day. President Barack Obama on Sunday arrived early in New York, where hijackers flew airliners into the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center to visit the Ground Zero site. He visited the Pentagon, also targeted by hijackers, after laying a wreath at the Marble Wall of Names in rural Pennsylvania, where a 4th passenger jet crashed into ground near the town of Shanksville. In the evening, Obama made a speech at a memorial event in Washington, D.C., repeatedly citing U.S. commitment to its deals and that the decades since the 9/11 attacks have strengthened the country. He added that the decade has proven that America does not give in to fear, that they hold fast to their freedoms and shown America's resolve to defend its citizens and way of life. Libya's National Transitional Council has called for a united front against the remaining forces of Muammar Gaddafi on a day when a son of the former dictator entered Niger and the leader of his external spy surveys was arrested. Security sources in Niger say that a convoy of 8 or 9 vehicles were stopped while passing through the desert that separates the two countries, and it was found that Gaddafi's son Saadi Gaddafi and other senior officials were on board the convoy. The report was also confirmed by Maru Adamu, Niger's government spokesman, and also its Ministry of Justice. Saadi, 38, the third of Gaddafi's 7 sons, is regarded as a playboy who renounced a football career in 2004 to join the army, where he led an elite unit. Separately, on Sunday, Bulliten Dorda, the head of the Gaddafi's external security organization, was arrested in Tripoli. Dorda, former prime minister, will be handed over to the NTC later on Sunday, an anti-Gaddafi fighter said. Turkey's prime minister is said to travel to Egypt at the beginning of a North African trip that will also see him visit Libya and Tunisia, as Ankara seeks to consolidate its growing influence in a region shaken by the Arab Spring. Recep Tayyip Erdogan's arrival on Monday evening comes with both countries experiencing turbulent relations with Israel, which once considered both governments in Ankara and Cairo as regional allies. Erdogan is due to meet Field Marshal Mohammad Hossein Tantawi, head of the ruling council that took over when Hosni Mubarak was toppled in February, on Tuesday, and is expected to address the Cairo-based Arab League. He will also meet his Egyptian counterpart Issam Sharaf, where the two will sign a political declaration to create a strategic council for cooperation and will sign economic trade, investment and other accords. Erdogan is due to visit Tunisia on Wednesday and hold talks in Libya on Thursday. The Gulf Cooperation Council has called for an immediate end to the killing machine in Syria and reiterated its demand for government reforms. Ending a meeting in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, the 6 foreign ministers of the Gulf Arab states issued a statement calling for an end to the crackdown on anti-government protesters and urging the immediate implementation of serious reforms that meet the aspirations of the Syrian people. The United Nations estimated on August 22nd that more than 2,200 people have been killed since protests began in March, while scores have been reported killed in the following weeks, and Syrian activists now put the death toll closer to 3,000. Meanwhile, protests were reported in several towns on Sunday, and the local coordination committee said security forces used gunfire to disperse demonstrations in Abu Kamal and in Qusair and Talbisay in the Central Homs Governorate. Earlier on Sunday, Alain Juppé, foreign minister, said the UN's failure to condemn these actions of Syrian security forces against protesters was a scandal. And that more than 100 people burned to death in a fire on a fuel pipeline in a shanty town area of Nairobi, the Kenyan capital, according to police. The explosion took place in Nairobi's Lungad industrial area, which is surrounded by the densely packed teen shack housing of the Sinai neighborhood. Many residents were caught up in the blaze. A Red Cross official said that the organization had sent a team to the scene. Firefighters sprayed chemical foam to try to contain the fire, while both police and soldiers dropped off the area and pushed people back from the area. Fuel leaks and oil tanker accidents in Africa often draw huge crowds scrambling to scoop fuel, resulting in many deaths due to the accidental fires. And that is all for now. Thanks for joining us.